Hello, it's 3 p.m. I'm Priya Rai and we are live getting you ready for England to face the Democratic Republic of Congo, looking for a place in the last 16. There's less than 2 hours to go now. These are the live pictures from Atlanta Stadium where that match will be happening. Some fans already arriving.
I'm Hugh Ferris at the BBC Sports Centre, from where we will have the starting lineups when they're announced, and we'll explore who England might face next if they win today.
I'm in Stourbridge in the West Midlands, where Jude Bellingham's football story first began, and we'll be finding out how people around here are feeling ahead of tonight's match. Get in.
Here on the Kirby Estate in Bermondsey in southeast London, the flags are out in force and fans are grabbing their spots on the sofa ahead of the big match.
We'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching the match and who are you watching it with? You can scan this QR code throughout the programme and tell us. So this is it. There is a lot on the line and it all starts right here. Hello, it's good to see you again as we get you ready for England's tie against DR Congo. A place in the last 16 is at stake, so there is, of course, a lot to be playing for. And it's a kick-off at 5 p.m, ideal timing at last for all of you here in the UK. I just want to quickly show you, before we carry on, some of the live shots that we're seeing. I can see in front of me, because we've just been seeing the England team bus as they've been getting ready to head towards the stadium. They've been making their way. We have earlier watched the DR Congo bus making its way towards the stadium here. Lots of fans already there soaking up the atmosphere, and those blue skies as well, because yeah, there we go, all the gear ready for the game, made the trip stateside. Those blue skies as well. There was some concern that it might be a bit rainy or stormy, but it looks like that's completely held off for their game. But yes, a 5 o'clock kickoff. We're getting you ready for that game. And that might just mean that your parents aren't telling you you need to get yourselves to bed, because it is, of course, a school night and some of these kickoffs have been a little bit late. If that is you, England's Thomas Tuchel has got a message for you.
Hopefully everyone who is allowed to watch tomorrow, because they have to go to bed early normally. So hopefully they feel the spirit, hopefully they feel how much it means to this team. I see it every day, I feel it every day, and hopefully we can transmit it through the TVs and make them proud and happy.
So if that is you, if you're going to be rushing home and you want to make your way to the sofa, for example, well, let us know how you're watching, where you're watching, who you're watching with. Scan the QR code that is on your screen right now. There we go, magic. And you can even send us a picture of where you are, who you're with, and let us know how you're feeling about the game tonight. I want to hear from as many of you as possible now that you can watch tonight's game without thinking about that bedtime. Of course, we'll bring you the starting 11 from Thomas Tuchel as soon as we get it confirmed as well, but we know there are a few things that you are already hearing. So let's go live to Atlanta Stadium, where our reporter Sami Mokbel is. What are you hearing out of Team England so far, Sami?
So yeah, just a matter of sort of hours now away from kickoff, and the early team news that I'm getting literally just in the last few minutes is that England manager Thomas Tuchel is going to make 3 changes from the side that started against Panama. Declan Rice will come into the side. Noni Madueke, that's a shot, will come into the side in place of Bukayo Saka. And then that all-important question, who's going to play at right back in place of the injured Reece James and Jarell Quansah? My information right now is that Jed Spence is going to start at right back. So obviously all of that still has to be confirmed later on this afternoon, but at the moment 3 changes is what I'm hearing.
And this is a real point of contention, even in spite of injuries, when the original squad was announced by Thomas Tuchel. I mean, what will be going through his mind, do you think?
I think that there are numerous factors that he would have to have considered here. One, it's the knockout game, so I think the strategy needs to be balanced. It can't just be a case of sticking all of your best attacking players on the pitch and trying to go for the jugular. If they lose today, they go out of the tournament. The consequences of that are grave. One for Thomas Tuchel, whose position will be under severe threat if they go out today, and obviously the players as well. who will be under intense scrutiny and criticism if they lose to DR Congo today. Thomas Tuchel will be very aware of that, and I think the team that he's selected is balanced with a nice, as I say, with a nice balance between attack and defence. And at the end of the day, look, they go into the game as heavy favourites. They've got the players to win the game. It's just the point now is just a level of execution. Can they do it on the day? They've been here before. The players have played in major tournaments, big games. They've gone deep into World Cups and European Championships. So this won't faze them. But on the day, as we know, football, anything can happen, and they have to execute today.
Anything can happen. We have just seen some of the players getting on their bus, leaving their hotel and making their way towards where you are, Sammy, at the Atlanta Stadium. A quick word on this weather, Sammy, because I'm used to seeing you in a bit of rain or with an umbrella, and I thought you were going to be in some kind of stormy situation again today. That was a slight fear, but of course there's a roof on the stadium. It's pretty state of the art. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you can probably see the drips of sweat that are just coming running down into my eyes now. It is sweltering out here today. I think that the temperatures are going to reach around 35 degrees later on this afternoon, but thankfully for England, they're going to be protected by the stadium behind me. As you say, state of the art, fully air conditioned. And Jordan Pickford, speaking yesterday, said that the temperatures will probably be around 20 degrees. So that is really manageable for them, and they'll be protected by the elements. Of course, they still have to go out there and produce the goods. But in terms of the elements that they're going to be exposed to, they'll be able to deal with that no problem at all.
All right, Sammy, well, I'm going to come back to you a little bit later as well, but thank you very much for now. From Atlanta, let's go to Salford and our sports centre, where Hugh Ferris is on hand for us today. This is a big game. It's the first knockout match, so of course there is a lot at stake. But Thomas Tuchel has said, don't expect anything glamorous.
Don't expect anything glamorous. You're right. The managing of the expectations for any England manager is part of the biggest tasks that he has. He has not only to manage the expectations that most England fans will expect to beat DR Congo in the last 32. They would be expected to beat most teams that they would play at this stage of the competition. But because of what happened against teams who are happy to defend against them in those second and third group games against Ghana and Panama, he's very insistent on making sure that those expectations are not necessarily, as you say, of the kind of game we saw in the first match against Croatia, which was much more entertaining. But what he has done is to make sure that everybody understands that getting through is the key, particularly because you shouldn't be overconfident against any team, let alone this one from DR Congo. Have a listen.
I expect it to be very difficult. I can promise you it will not be a draw tomorrow. So this is clear. We will find the winner. And we expect a kind of a similar game, like we faced against Ghana, like we faced against Panama. A physical team, a quick team, a devoted team, a team that we arrive as favourites, and they can play in the role of an underdog, which suits them very well.
So Thomas Tuchel wouldn't want to get ahead of himself or ahead of the team, but we're allowed to do it here. So this is the bracket. This is the half of the draw that England are in. This is guaranteed. We know what would happen were they to be successful over the course of the tournament. We know who, when they would play and where they would play. Crucially, we do know that Mexico awaits in the last 16 should England win today. It would be at the Azteca Stadium. Remember the hand of God, Maradona? That was at the Azteca. Again, if they are successful in Mexico City, then it's Miami at 10 o'clock. It's 1 a.m. in Mexico City if they get there, so it gets progressively earlier, the kickoff time. That's Miami on Saturday, the 11th of July. That's the quarterfinal. The semi-final, even earlier. England would play on Wednesday, the 15th of July, back at Atlanta, where they are now. And yes, if they had to get to the first final since 1966 of the World Cup, Sunday, the 19th of July, that is at 8 p.m. At the MetLife in New Jersey. So that is when and where. That's set in stone. But who they will play, well, that's where we get into a bit of a guessing game, because apart from the round of 16 against Mexico, who have won, they're through. We know that is the same in lying in wait in the round of 16. But let's have a little bit of speculation thereafter, shall we? Apologies to Norway fans. Brazil could well be the quarter-final opponents in Miami. Remember 2002, that quarter-final? Ronaldinho, David Seaman, all that could be a rematch of that if they get through. South American flavour very much to this part of the draw, because if Argentina, the defending champions, get to the semi-final, that could well be England's opponents. And then we're going to hedge our bets a little bit with the final, because France or Spain, because they can only meet in the semi-final, and after France did what they did against Sweden last night, perhaps we should be scrubbing out Spain and making France a definite. They are that good at the moment. So that's how much we know, Priya, about the definites and some of the speculation about what England's path to the final could be.
There's an expected defensive DR Congo as expecting to be their first step tonight. A lot of talk about how deep they might be expected to sit. But I want to take a minute, Hugh, to just look at some of the African nations more broadly in this tournament, because if I can actually just pull up a graphic myself now, you can see here the amount of countries who've got players playing for them not born in that nation has gone up significantly in this tournament, almost a quarter of all players. And looking specifically at DR Congo, 20 out of 26 of their squad are players not born inside the Democratic Republic of Congo. Hugh, what does this tell us about how DR Congo and some of these other nations, Morocco notably as well, have been looking towards the diaspora as a way of enhancing their quality?
That's right, and the coach of DR Congo, Sébastien Desabre, has spent quite a lot of the time he's been in charge. He's had quite a long spell. It's often expected that managers of African countries in particular don't get that much time, but he has had an opportunity to try and discover those players. And it will be that when we see the DR Congo team later, that you recognise quite a lot of the players, partly because some were born in the UK and others play in the Premier League. You've got the likes of Axel Tuanzebe, who was actually born in DR Congo but grew up in Rochdale. He's really good friends with Marcus Rashford. They grew up in the Manchester United youth system together. So you'll recognise him. You'll recognise Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who also played for Manchester United as well. He was born in London, as was Aaron Chibola, who plays for Kilmarnock now. You've got the likes of Yohan Wissa, who of course plays at Newcastle. Noah Siddiqui is a Sunderland player. You've got Watford players in there. You've got some players who played in the Premier League but now play elsewhere. So there will be up to 9, maybe even 10 of the team, or at least the squad, that will be very familiar to people who haven't necessarily picked them out in their group games so far.
And I know for some it's been a question of who's being supported tonight from a fan's perspective. But hopefully as well, we will be at a watch party where there's a lot of DR Congo fans a little bit later. Hugh, thank you very much for now. We'll be coming back to you in a little while. Some of you have already been getting in touch. Don't forget to scan that QR code on your screen as we build you up over the next 45 minutes or so. This is the England bus making its way towards Atlanta Stadium, full of Thomas Tuchel's players making their way. We saw some of them getting onto the bus. I think I saw Declan Rice with his headphones in, probably getting into the zone. A couple of messages from you that I want to read, because I did say it's a 5 o'clock kickoff. It means some of you can watch this game when you ordinarily may not have been able to, or maybe you've had to go to bed. Mark in Manchester, hello to you. You say, I'm a school music teacher and we've got a summer concert at 7 p.m. Need to plan ahead far better for the next tournament. Pray for no extra time or penalties. Ed in Staffordshire saying, I work in an office where not one single person watches the football, in fact any sport, so I'm trying to leave early and get home in time for kickoff. Wish me luck. I do wish you luck, Ed. Scan that QR code. You can even send us some photographs where you're watching and who you're watching with, and I'll keep reading out your messages. Right, let's go to South London, where our reporter Tim Muffet is in somewhere dubbed one of the most patriotic England supporting neighbourhoods in the country. Tell us about where you are, Tim.
Yeah, hello there. Check this out for a flag collection. More than 300 England flags, it is estimated, here at Kirby Estate in Bermondsey in south-east London. Ever since really 2012, during every big football tournament, the flags come out. You may well based on your socials, across the media. It gets a huge amount of attention, and excitement, as you would expect, is indeed building right now, because it's not long to go, is it, until kickoff. Now, the thing is, it's not just about showing a display of support for the England team. It's about bringing the community together. It's about getting neighbours together, having a chat, watching the game together as well. And you can see what a startling kind of image it creates. And here is the man who's helped make it all happen, Chris and Alan, neighbours, friends. Chris, How did it all begin, and how has it become such a big deal?
It's 2012 with Geraldine, yeah. She put up a couple of flags and Alan put up a couple of flags, and I liked the look of it. It's like, it took me back to Euro 96 and I thought, I need a piece of this. We need to do a few more, and we started putting up a few more. We kept going backwards and forwards to the pound shop, kept buying more to do one side of the block, and then over the years the estate's been exposed with trees being taken away and stuff, to the point where it got to 2018 where we thought, we need to go every balcony, we need to do it properly, we need to do the whole lot. So we went door to door, knocked on everyone's doors, put a letter through their door asking if they minded if we put up a flag, and everyone was on board. And I said, listen, if you're not from England, wherever you're from, get your own flag, put it up and we'll take ours down. And from that moment on, it's just grown and grown as to what you see now.
Yeah, it's quite exciting. Let's have a little spin round if we can, because there are so many of them. Now, of course, it is predominantly England flags, but it's not just England flags, is it? Because anyone's welcome to put up any flag they want.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're taking part in the competition, it's a bit odd if they're not taking part. But we've got Portugal, we've got a Scottish flag, we've got French flags, we've got Colombian flags. Over the years we've had Portuguese, German, Spanish, Turkish, Brazilian, you name it, we'll put it up and we'll happily take ours out of the way. Yeah.
Alan, what impact does it have on the community here, on the community spirit?
Well, it brings everyone out. Once the flags go up, everyone starts getting happy, and everyone just starts to come out, starts chatting more, and we all start having fun, sitting in gardens and having drinks and cups of tea and watching football. It's just brilliant. It's fantastic. I get excited every time these flags come up. It takes a lot of work to put them up, don't get me wrong, but yeah, we do go for it, don't we?
Yeah, do it properly.
We do it properly. Otherwise, it ain't worth doing it at all, is it?
How are you feeling ahead of the game?
I feel fantastic tonight. I think we're going to hopefully smash them, I hope so, and put a good performance in. I really do, because unfortunately at the moment we ain't. All right, we've won, that's what we need to do, win, but we ain't really put a good game in, good. I don't know. We need to win, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, this World Cup's been interesting because some of the matches have been during the middle of the night, very late. This is much earlier for us in the UK, 5 p.m. What impact is that going to have, do you think, for people watching and enjoying the game?
It gives everyone a chance to get home, as long as they're allowed to come home, work early and watch it. I think it gives everyone a chance to be about to watch a game. Whereas where they've been so late, like early on in the tournament, people are indoors, people have got to go to bed, people go out for work, they're not getting the time off. So I don't think everyone's had the chance to watch a game. For England, our kick-off times have been okay, but some of them, like Scotland's, were 2 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. It's just impossible for some people.
Now, if England win,
When?
Okay, when you said that, not me. If England win, you're going to have a big screen up for the quarter-finals onwards, if they get to that point. But for today, people are going to be in their flats, but neighbours are going to be popping in and saying hello, having a drink.
I mean, people will be indoors, doors will be open, and obviously at half-time we'll come together and have a little chat, try and assess it like they do in the dressing room, hoping we can put the team to rights and they can come back out the second half and put a performance in. But yeah, people will be dotted about. You'll hear people screaming if goals go in. I mean, it hasn't happened really. Like, obviously we drew 0-0 with Ghana. We struggled against Panama. We got the job done, but it wasn't really like buzzing on here because the performances haven't warranted it, really.
It was late at night as well when they come.
It was a Saturday.
Yeah, it was a Saturday as well. Some of them were going 10 o'clock at night and things like that, so people unfortunately are up bed for work and all that. So yeah, but hopefully,
Early kick-off, everyone will be out and about later on.
And you've got some good murals here as well, haven't you? Eze and also Frank Kirby from the Lionesses as well. It's a love, adds to the kind of feel of it, and I believe Eze came along and signed it as well.
He did. I mean, that mural was done in 2024. Within 24 hours, his family and friends were down to look at it. We FaceTimed him whilst he was over in Germany with the England squad. And then last year, in fact, it was this time last year, actually come round and actually put pen to the wall and cemented his name on our estate forever. And he was such a lovely fella. I mean, he spent a good couple of hours here signing absolutely everything people needed signing, and nothing was too much for him. He was genuinely a really nice fella.
And were you surprised when, after 2012 and in 2018 and during other big tournaments, it became such a big deal, these flags? Because they've been seen the world over.
It's now classed as an exxibit. I mean, for us, it's a council estate in Bermondsey. We would do it no matter what. We never done it for
art.
Apparently. We're artists. Not them kind of artists either. But for us, it wouldn't stop us doing it if it got the publicity it had or not. We would do it anyway. And the fact that we still get people coming around, you've seen yourself, there have been tourists coming around whilst you've been here, and it's just lovely to see that people feel the need to come and have a look at our estate and take photos for themselves so they can say they've seen it.
What's your message to the England team? If they might be watching, I don't know, but what would you say to them now? What do they need to do to get the nation really, really behind them? Which they already are to an extent.
Yeah, well, I think tonight especially they need to put in a really strong performance. They need to come out strong, start fast, score early, and then I think the floodgates are open and we'll do well tonight. If we score early, we'll be fine. Just put in a decent performance. That's what we're crying out for. We've got the job done in the group stages, but now it's a lottery. They need to come out and show us what they're all about.
Okay, I'm sure they will. What we'll do, when the game starts, we're going to come back and we're going to have a chat to you maybe at half-time as well. Pop in and see some of your neighbours as well. It should be good. Should be a lovely day, and fingers crossed for the England result
as well.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Thanks so much indeed, Chris and Alan. Well, there you go. The flags are out. The excitement is building. There are so many of them. It's really kind of adds to the feeling of anticipation here. But as both Chris and Adam were saying, it's about community spirit here as well, which is always very, very special during these big football tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, thank you very much for now. And we will pop back in a little while. I want to show you some of the live pictures that we're getting from the States. Plenty of England fans also outside the stadium. And of course, some DR Congo support as well. But also we've got live shots of the England team bus making its way up the carriageway towards Atlanta Stadium not too long ago, perhaps 15 minutes or so ago. We saw them getting on board their bus heading towards the stadium. Going behind the scenes is something with England is something our reporter Alex Howell has spent some time doing this week. Alex, you're based in Kansas City where they've got their training camp.
That's right, I get the very privileged position to see how the players prepare day in, day out, and speak to members of staff and players about how they're preparing for these games. First it was the group stages, and of course now the knockouts, and then the last couple of days I've been filming and having a look about how things get done at the England training camp. In Kansas City, so let's have a look around.
Hello, welcome. How are y'all?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah.
So this is the darts area, and this is something the FA introduced in 2018. So every day when a player comes in, they play a member of the media on the darts hip. Before making the short walk to the top table to do their press conference. So this is the banks of desk where the journalists come to work, to write articles, edit video or pictures for the photographers after the players have spoken.
It's a time when the nation stops, and without being too political, I think it's quite good that there's a bit of joy in the world and there's a bit of coming together of nation. Plus also the football here has been really good. I mean, I would put it in the top 3-4 World Cups I've been to in terms of quality of football.
This is my 6th tournament, so I'm a veteran at this, as you could probably tell by all the grey hairs down the side. But every time I've come to one of these tournaments, the FA does a brilliant job in making sure we've got all the facilities that we need to deliver the news to our audiences back home.
So this is the BBC TV interview room. So this is where you see Kelly Summers interviewing players, and Thomas Tuchel actually sit right there. A lot smaller than it probably looks on TV. One of the main things you notice when you come to a major tournament is that everything is branded, even the biscuits. World Cup 2026 England biscuits, and they're quite handy after you're here for a long day for a little sugar boost. So that was a look around the England camp and how the team prepare and what it's like working there day to day. Those little conversations when you see the manager walk through and chat to the players really help paint the picture of what the vibe is like around the camp. And I don't know if you saw on the dartboard score, they actually played day one and lost to Jordan Henderson. But it's all ways to build relationships and get an understanding about how Thomas Tuchel is trying to guide this team to win the World Cup.
I was going to ask you about that, Alex, so I'm glad you didn't make me embarrass you there. But what's your sense in terms of how much of a difference it actually makes, how much it brings the squad together and how much the intention is working?
It really is. I think you do feel that. You hear the players speaking about how they're spending time away from the base, spending time together playing card games, playing different games, but the reason they want to do that is because of the time they've spent together when they are at the base, and that is harnessed by Tuchel. He's a big believer in creating a club feel at the national side, because he thinks that can get the team over the line. When he was looking at when England lost in the final in Euro 2024, he said there wasn't enough connection between the players. So that's something he's really been big on in the year and a half that he's been in charge. And I think you have seen a difference, even that if things aren't going the right way for England, they can still fall back on that. They get on, they've got these good relationships.
All right, Alex, Hal, thank you very much for now in Kansas City, and it is great to be able to get a little sneak peek behind the scenes. Some of you have been giving us a sneak peek as well as to how you're watching the game. We've been telling you to get in touch. So this is Kenneth Williamson from London, who's donned his England shirt, getting ready to watch the game with his partner, Caroline. And they're going to be watching it also with their daughter, Jessica, at home on a big screen in London. So you're looking very ready with your shirt on. I've also got the most adorable picture to show you here. Curtis from Preston, which is just lovely to see. Getting them going really early there. Watching at home as a family with my little one's first World Cup, says Curtis. And James, also a real inside point of view shot here. Love that, getting us on your screen there. James is having a late night as he's going to be watching the game from Bali. I'm not going to try and do the maths on the time difference, but it does sound like it will be a late night for you in Bali. But thanks to all of you for sending your pictures. Keep them coming. You can scan that QR code on your screens right now. Let's have a little look at some of the live pictures again from Atlanta, because this is where all the action is happening. We want to take you as close to it as possible. The England bus there making its way now very close. You can see it's on the outskirts of the Atlanta Stadium. The DR Congo team are already inside. I think we have seen a couple of them out on the pitch. Let's take you inside the stadium. There we go, in all its glory. And Sammy was telling us earlier, wasn't he? This is a pretty high-tech stadium. They've got a roof on, it's also air-conditioned, and that's good in many ways. There was some chance that it might rain or be a bit stormy today, so obviously it would have protected them from that, but because it is air-conditioned, that is, of course, good for the higher temperatures to be able to help the players along as well. Few fans also starting to make their way to the seats, and England making their way to the stadium as well. Glorious to see these images. Of course, a lot on the line today. First knockout game of the tournament. So a lot on the line for both sides. It's the first time DR Congo have made it to this stage in a World Cup. It is only their second time ever at the tournament. The first time they got to the World Cup in 1974, they included a 9-0 defeat, so they'll be hoping that this story comes away a little bit different for them. Captain of England, Harry Kane, making his way first off the England bus, and he'll be followed by many of his teammates. Nico O'Reilly behind him. And you can see as well, Alex was just talking about them wanting to feel like a team and feel comfortable where they are as well. And you kind of do get the sense from seeing these pictures. Of course, they know there's a lot ahead of them, but they look relaxed at least. Hugh is with us from our sports centre in Salford. I mean, what will be going through their minds at this point, Hugh?
Well, it certainly ramps up, doesn't it, when you see the players arriving at the stadium, the sense of expectation that we all have of the game to come, and indeed what those players will expect from their own performance. It's really interesting. We heard from Alex Howe just a moment ago, didn't we, about how it's really crucial, particularly in Kansas City where he is, that the players are spending a lot of time with each other, in each other's company. It's an extended tournament, it's a longer tournament, so they have to spend even longer in each other's company. And part of that whole rigmarole is making sure that they understand that they are, and this is a cliche, but it's true, in this together. It has been a problem in England squads gone past. We saw that Golden Generation documentary on the BBC, didn't we, about how it was very difficult then, split down club loyalties and they weren't able to bond as a team. Thomas Tuchel has made that the central part of how he has prepared this team for this tournament. He has broken it down into sections. The first section was the pre-camp in Florida. The second section was the build-up to the group stage. And now, of course, it is the knockout rounds, and there is one extra knockout round. So if you're an England fan and you're used to all the nail biting that comes inevitably from any sort of journey at major tournament, you have to get ready for the idea that these players will be taking you on that roller coaster one more ride than usual. But you're right, Priya, there is a sense of expectation from us, but from them too. They will know, because of that bond that they have together, because of what Thomas Tuchel has tried to instill with them as a group, that should they face adversity against DR Congo in Atlanta this afternoon, that they will find a way through it, not just with the way that they play and the system they adopt and all the tactics that he's been able to instill with them, but they also know that they will be able to respond to those moments of adversity in the right way as players and, more importantly, as a team.
Yeah. All right, Hugh, thanks again for now. I don't want to cut away from these pictures, and just to remind you, while we do have them, of the squad making their way back in, is that we will of course bring you the official confirmed starting 11 from Thomas Tuchel's side when we get it, but it's expected that Jed Spence is going to be the person starting at right back, which of course has been a point of contention. And the BBC Sport Live page has got some of those details from our reporter Sami Mokbel. Okay, so we can now focus a little bit on what this game means for the DR Congo team. Because, as I was saying, their footballing credentials is one thing, but there's also a lot going on in the country. Our reporter, Emery Makameno, is in Kinshasa. And I want to ask you, Emery, about how people there are able to watch the game. Because there has been some bans on mass gatherings because it's a country facing an Ebola outbreak.
Yes, the country is facing its 17th Ebola crisis or health emergency at the moment. But I've gone around and I've seen in different fan zones, I think the ban won't be respected, because as I'm talking to you here, I had to leave one because of the noise of the loudspeaker. So people are flocking in, are going into those fan zones, not only here in Kinshasa, but including in Bunia in eastern DRC. That's the capital city of Ituri, which has 90% of the Ebola infections so far. So I'm afraid, but the Ebola is around, but I think football has taken precedence, unfortunately.
Yes, Emery, on that last point you make there, a lot of conversations I've heard is this desire that DR Congo's run in this World Cup, historic run for the nation, can do something for the Congolese identity.
This is the expectation here. The team has nothing to lose, and this is not from me, it's from the head of state, Felix Tshisekedi, yesterday while addressing the nation during the 66th National Independence Day. He said, look, you've already made us proud, the Leopard, you've done what we were expecting. Now go to the pitch without no pressure. And they know that they are the underground. England has won once in 1966, if I'm correct. So they are also fourth in the FIFA ranking. So they have a lot to lose if they lose the game, while DRC is playing as the underdog and they have no pressure, and they think that they can get through, they can go beyond.
It has a team that has improved its football status over recent years, especially under their now head coach, taking them quite far in AFCON in 2023 to the quarterfinals. So what has it done for young people in DR Congo in terms of providing role models, aspirations, spreading the love of football?
A lot. I mean, many were not, there was, I would say, a lot of pessimism over here at the very beginning. And I mean, the team has also gone through a sort of roller coaster. It's been up and down for the last 4 years. And the biggest disappointment came when they lost the chance of being qualified directly here in Kinshasa, when they lost against Senegal, and then they had to go to the barrage, and then the celebrations that were supposed to take place here from the 27th before they could go to the World Cup campaign didn't happen because of Ebola. So the team is going there without most of the fans who were hoping to be there. But the team has been consolidating its strength throughout the 4 years. They've been playing together for a couple of years, the squad currently that is going to face England. So there's a lot of confidence, and they had all their ups and downs that I think now they are optimistic, they are more confident, and they have nothing to lose.
No, absolutely. Well, Emery, I appreciate you joining us there from Kinshasa. It's good to be able to speak to you. Thank you very much. Okay, well, let's have a look at the clock, shall we? 1 hour and 26 minutes to go until that kickoff. England facing the Democratic Republic of Congo. They're playing for a place in the last 16 of the World Cup. So there is, of course, a lot on the line. We've been talking a little bit about some of the things we expect for the team news, but it's looking like we've got confirmation. So let's cross to Salford, to Hugh Ferris in our sports centre.
Hello to you, Priya. Yes, the confirmed team news has come in. It is as expected. So England do make 3 changes, 1 in force because of the paucity of right-backs currently available to Thomas Tuchel, and a couple as well changes because of just managing minutes and managing fitness, particularly for Bukayo Saka. So let's have a look, shall we? This is the team shape. It will return to a 4-2-3-1. There are a couple more advanced positions for the midfielders in the third game of the group, rather, against Panama. Jed Spence is starting at right-back. Declan Rice is back in the team. He's one of those players that has been managing a little niggle or two after his long season with Arsenal. Similarly so for Bukayo Saka, who is replaced by his Arsenal teammate Noni Madueke. So for England, it is Jordan Pickford in goal. The back 4 ahead of him, Jed Spence, Ezri Konsa, Mark Gay and Nico O'Reilly. It will be Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice sitting in midfield. Noni Madueke restored to the lineup on the right-hand side of that 3, with Marcus Rashford retaining his place. Jude Bellingham, the number 10, behind Harry Kane. It's important to mention that Thomas Tuchel was asked, Priya, in his press conference yesterday about the fact that it seems to be all down to Kane and Bellingham, that he and they have been providing all the goals. Well, it turns out that Thomas Tuchel is absolutely fine with that, and should it continue like that, he's absolutely fine with it. So that's the England lineup confirmed from Atlanta. We've got about, 1 hour, 24 minutes to go until kickoff.
To the absolute minute, yeah, bang on. And you say, you know, there's this sort of perceived pressure on Bellingham and Kane. There's also the pressure if you are the person, if you are Jed Spence, for example, who is taking a position on the field that has got all eyes on it, that has got questions being asked about it. We're going to be speaking to a psychologist a little bit later, Hugh, but I wonder what that's like, what players go through when you're in those quite coveted positions.
That's right. Well, Jed Spence is a right-back by trade, Priya, although he's played a lot more at left-back for his club Spurs, simply because they've got the Spain international right-back, Pedro Porro, there. So he is right-footed. He is a right-back. He will be playing there, as he did so against Croatia when he came on, and helped to contribute to the 4th goal as well. Let's speak to Henry Winter, who we saw in Alex's piece. He's out there with World Soccer Magazine, and he's at the stadium for us. Henry, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. That is the team, and it is Jed Spence who plays at right-back. This will be, and I can't think of a tournament where right back has been discussed so much, certainly from an England point of view, but it will be him. What's your makeup of the team?
Pretty much as expected. I mean, it's interesting that you say about Jed Spence. I mean, I asked Tuchel about whether England had a psychologist out here, and one of the fans in town later on last night pulled me and said, can the psychologist play right back? Because it has been, as you say, a problem position. With Reece James, we know his injury problems. He's not going to be available for this game. And also Tino Livramento's gone home. So Jed Spence, as you say, he can play on the right and on the left. He's moved across there. There was a possibility, I suppose, of playing Ezri Konsa there and bringing John Stones in at centre-half. But it makes sense to have a specialist right back in there. I think that probably the biggest surprise / disappointment is that Bukayo Saka, Arsenal star boy, is not fit. He's still managing this Achilles tendonitis problem. And Madueke, look, who has been good when he's been used in this tournament, he comes in on the right.
I'm fascinated what you think of how Thomas Tuchel has been managing expectations, particularly over the last 24 hours. He said that the defeats for the Netherlands and Germany, although Netherlands wasn't much of a surprise, but big teams going out was a reminder to his players to stay calm, that anything could happen, to not get carried away with the expectation that England will win, and that he said that it won't be glamorous. It's interesting, after those 2 games against Ghana and Panama, is he suggesting that it will be more of the same later?
Yeah, I think it's a game of patience and then unleashing the pace. As you say, Rashford is starting on the left quite rightly. Anthony Gordon's a good player and he might come on and play a part in the penalties if it goes that far, but he's been underwhelming. But it's about patience and pace. It's about just taking your time, not getting frustrated with this low block, dealing with the sort of, the mass defence that England are going to come up against, and then just taking your chances. And if that's going quickly in transition out wide, Madueke on the right, Rashford on the left, Harry Kane dropping into the 10 role, and then Jude Bellingham bombing forward and getting into the box, which we know he can and be so effective, probably England's most important player now, even edging ahead of Harry Kane. Then England will be able to break them down. But coming back to your point about the mood in the camp, I mean, my experience of covering however many tournaments with England is that a lot of them are actually cut off from the noise, from the media, from print, podcasts, television, radio, whatever, and they are pretty focused. I mean, these are individuals who, since the age of sort of 7 or 8, have been totally focused on one thing: maximising their talent, maximising their earning potential, and obviously with England, the patriotism and all the other emotions that come into it. So I don't think they need to be told to motivate themselves on behalf of the nation. They'll be doing it themselves.
Fair enough, and there is a plan at least, Henry. Whether DR Congo let them play to their plan is another matter. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Henry Winter, thank you ever so much for joining us from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium at Atlanta. Back to you, Priya. We await confirmation of the DR Congo team. We'll bring that to you shortly.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, Hugh. Thanks very much for now. Right, I want to go straight to a place I know very well, to Stourbridge, where the football club gave rise to a certain Jude Bellingham and Navtej Johal, who's our reporter there. I went to college there, so it does good things, this little town.
Superstars who came from Stourbridge, who we're speaking about today. But Priya, yes, you're right, we're here at the home of Stourbridge FC, the War Memorial Athletic Ground. The club has been here for 150 years, as you can see behind me there. But the reason why we're here is not just because they avoided relegation in the Southern Premier League Division Central last season and have been doing pretty well in the last few months, but it's because of, as you say, that link to the England superstar Jude Bellingham. This is where he started his football journey as a 7-year-old playing for Stourbridge Juniors on this grass behind me, which is currently set up, as you can see, in the off-season for cricket rather than football. But it was here that he used to play, and he began playing football for Stourbridge Juniors as a 7-year-old. His father, Mark Bellingham, was a striker here. Someone told me from the club earlier that he still holds the record, does Mark Bellingham, for the highest number of goals scored by a player in a single season. This is where it began for Jude Bellingham. He then went on to Birmingham City, of course, and then Borussia Dortmund in Germany. And then 3 years ago, he joined Real Madrid, and he is very firmly established now as one of England's most important players, maybe with Harry Kane, England's most important player. But he still is very proud of coming from Stourbridge. We're about 15 miles or so away from Birmingham here in the West Midlands. He's very proud of coming from Stourbridge. This hometown of his means a great deal to him. And earlier today, I was at a school, St Joseph's Catholic Primary School, just up the road, where a few years ago, after signing for Real Madrid, he came to the school, he met the kids, he ran a free football session with them, and I spoke to those kids about what it was like meeting their hometown hero Jude Bellingham and their hopes for the match tonight against DR Congo.
I'm so excited for the game. Hopefully we'll win, but if we don't, it's okay. And
Jude Bellingham, you've met him. He came to your school, didn't he? What was it like having him here?
It's so surreal, like a superstar coming to our school is just amazing.
I think we're going to do really well. I think we'll win. We've already done pretty well this tournament, so hopefully, yeah, good win for us.
And a couple of years ago, you had one of England's best players, Jude Bellingham, who's from around here, from Stourbridge, come to your school, play football with you, do a football session with you. What was that like? It
was really exciting. He showed us a lot of his skills and definitely his celebration as well.
Can you show me his celebration?
It's going to be really great because like all the other games I was allowed to stay up till like half time, and then my parents said, right James, it's getting late, go to bed and we can watch the recordings in the morning. So it's going to be exciting to watch it live, and I'm going over to my football team's friend's house, which is going to be great as well.
Well, that was the view of the children at St Joseph's Catholic Primary School here in Stourbridge. Let's speak now to the executive principal of the school, Mr Anthony Wilkes. Anthony, how did that visit from an international football superstar happen?
Yeah, and he was an international at the time as well. He just signed for Real Madrid too. Essentially, we were told that a mystery guest was coming to put on some football sessions on the field where Jude had played. We didn't know who he was, so initially we said no. We weren't told the names, so we had to say no to that. Thankfully, I really pushed it. We managed to find the name out, or else it would have been the most unpopular principal in history, I think. Once we found out who it was, we couldn't say no, and the children were absolutely over the moon to welcome their hero, really, back to Stourbridge.
And what was he like? I mean, this guy is a world-renowned footballing superstar. What was he like with the kids?
Incredible. He's an intelligent guy, but he's also caring, kind towards them as well. Had so much time for everybody. Once the news had travelled, far and wide, we had children past, present, local children who hadn't been to the school at all come down to see Jude. And he was being ushered away at times by his team. He stayed and signed every autograph, took every photograph. So much time for them. I have nothing but positives really to say about him.
And Anthony, just a final thing, but what's it like for the kids here in Stourbridge, if you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you know that Jude Bellingham came from the same place where you live, where you went to school, and he is now one of the best players in the world? What's it like for them to have that as an inspiration, to have him as a role model?
Well, you said inspirational there, and I think that's exactly the word that we would pick as well. The children mention words such as surreal. They're in awe of Jude. How inspiring for them. From such a football crazy school anyway, really, that has taken it on another level. Having Jude, Morgan down the road, of course, as well.
Morgan Rogers, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a real journey for the school, really, having to embrace the dreams of the children, push not everybody achieves what Jude is achieving, but really hamper those those expectations and just say to them, you can do it, you can do it. So yeah, nothing but pride for them.
Anthony, thank you so much. I'm going to show you 2 things before I go. One of them, after that visit over here, you might be able to see, this is a PE t-shirt that the kids wear at the school, and you can see here Jude Bellingham's signature, best wishes, number 5, which is the number he has for Real Madrid. Jude, and you can see the kids down there in that photograph doing his famous arms aloft celebration. And then just finally, retaining his roots, remembering his roots when he came back a few years ago to Stourbridge. Look where he came. Over here to the War Memorial Athletic Ground. That's Jude Bellingham there after he'd signed for Real Madrid. And we're hoping that he and England will be victorious tonight.
We absolutely are hoping that. Navtej Johal, thank you very much for joining us there from Stourbridge. I'm joined right here in our studio by Gyrit Jordet, who is a sports psychologist, or a psychologist from the Norwegian Sports Sciences School, and also author of this book that you've got in your hands, which is looking at all around the pressure associated, particularly with penalty taking. So you're a good guy to have around, I think. Let's have a listen, first of all, to what Thomas Tuchel has said about England and penalties.
For especially, or like in particular for penalties, no, we have a psychologist with us in camp, but the process of penalties is in place since many years and very successful in place since years, so we follow that protocol of the FA.
So, Gyrit, he speaks about process, and I had a question for you, which is the importance of that and how it builds familiarity and how that can play out psychologically when you're walking up to that spot.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. If you can have a process and a protocol that has been built over years, which I know the England squad, the FA has, that can be a very big benefit when you meet the enormousness of this particular moment.
And I know Thomas Tuchel spoke about referencing what Thierry Henry apparently said, that he couldn't really remember walking back to the halfway line because there's just so much going on. It's a bit of a blur. What is the mindset in that moment, or what should, in your opinion, the final thought be, perhaps?
Yeah, good question. I mean, the size of this moment is so big that it's very easy to be distracted. It's very easy to start to think about consequences, to start to think about all these things you should not think about. And very simply, the ideal thought at the very last moment is to focus on your shot. 2 things really. It's the shot ultimately, which you want to deliver, but also your personal protocol, your behaviors, your last little steps leading up to that shot, that routine, that's where your focus wants to be.
He said that he's going to stick to what Gareth Southgate has been doing, essentially, Thomas Tuchel. We can see actually now England beating Colombia on penalties, which was quite a momentous moment. taking up to this spot kick. And I mean, it's sort of reversing the psychology of a nation, not just players this moment. The weight of carrying that, let alone just hitting the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, the England story is fascinating. Losing 6 out of 7 shootouts leading up to that 2018 World Cup. The national trauma, all those experiences that people have had, and then turning it around, putting in place a very systematic project, a big project, and probably becoming the leading nation in the world on being prepared for penalties, which is a huge feat.
Can I very briefly end by asking you about the duel between the player and the goalkeeper and what that's like?
Yeah, that's one of the more fun things about the penalty shootout. It's such a battle. There's a goalkeeper there who's not your friend. He's trying anything he can to get into your head, to get you off balance, and he's creative. He's manipulative. He escalates. He starts soft and then he ends strong. And good luck dealing with that in the midst of all the pressure that is there from the beginning.
Well, Geir Hjuldet, I really appreciate you coming in to see us. Hopefully, some of what you've said, I can hope the fans will be watching tonight as well, but probably hoping it doesn't go to penalties. Thank you very much indeed. Well, lots of you have been getting in touch, looking more excited than nervous for tonight's game. So thank you for sending your messages, because I'm very much enjoying looking at a few of your pictures here. Let's have a look who we've got here. This is Anna from London, watching with her husband and son, enjoying his very first World Cup. Maybe he'll get used to winning ways, who knows. We've also got Martin in Nuneaton, who says, I'm sitting on my bed in my narrow boat in the Midlands getting ready for the game. That looks properly decked out inside that narrow boat. Love to see us on your screen as well. A couple more we've got from Port Louis in Mauritius. Gosh, you're watching from far and wide. I love that. TJ Constant and family watching in the heat. Maybe it's similar to the heat the players are facing in Atlanta in the US. Dave and say they're also watching from the Philippines. Going here, aren't we? And maybe I can get one more from the team because this one's very cute. It's got dogs in it. Is it worth it? No. Okay. Well, we have got a message from Marion Corrin and says from London saying, I'll be watching at home with my 2 dogs, Bergen and Dexter. So I hope you enjoy it as well. Let's come to Hugh in our Salford Sports Centre. I don't know if you have any news on the DR Congo squad, but I think also it is worth reflecting on how Thomas Tuchel saying it could be a similar side they face tactically as they did against Ghana.
It could well be pretty similar. The England team, just to quickly recap for you, Priya. 3 changes. Jarell Quansah out injured. Jed Spence comes in at right back. Morgan Rogers replaced by the returning Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka also out of the starting 11, replaced by Noni Madueke on the right-hand side for England. So 3 changes for England. Let's show you who they will be facing. The DR Congo team has come to us, and it shows just the one change. They've got Ngaliel Macau into the team, replacing Cedric Bakambu, and we thought that it might be 5 at the back, and this, of course, is just our best guess at how they're going to line up, but there are a few players that you may well recognise the name of. It's Lionel Mpassi in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the former Manchester United Premier League player, of course, born in London, playing for West Ham currently. Chancellor Mbemba used to play for Newcastle briefly. Axel Tuanzebe, who of course came up through the Manchester United ranks with Marcus Rashford, he's another centre-back, and then Arthur Masuaku, another former West Ham player, he's the left-back. Now, here's our best guess. At 5 in midfield, Nathaniel Mbuku on one side, Brian Sepenga on the other, and 3 in the middle. The new player, Macau, then you've got Samuel Mutasami, and Nathaniel, and Noah Siddiqui, who is a Sunderland player, and of course, staying in the northeast of England, Yoane Wissa, who of course is a Newcastle player. And Yoane Wissa, he scored 3 goals for Newcastle in his debut season. In the entire campaign, he's already got 3 goals at this World Cup for DR Congo. And Priya, it is also worth remembering, and you mentioned it, 52 years since they were in this competition, and they are back, and this is their first ever knockout game. Let's speak to Mimi Fawaz, who is with us and can just provide a little bit of context, Mimi, about how this has been for DR Congo and indeed all the African nations. 9 out of the 10 got through the group stages. We've lost Ivory Coast since then as well. But for DR Congo, who have only memories of 1974 and Zaire, they are back, and this is a historic moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Hugh. This is historic for the Democratic Republic of Congo. As you said, it's been 52 years before they've qualified and made it to the World Cup. So it's a huge moment for the country as a whole, and as well making it through to the knockout stages for the first time in their history. Many Congolese feel that, you know, they've got belief now, especially after that draw in the opening game against Portugal, who was seen as one of the favorites coming into the competition. They've got the belief that why not? They can go all the way. They could possibly even get a win against England today. That's definitely what's going on in the streets of Congo, the people that I'm speaking about. And this is a side, as well, as you've hinted to already, who are very strong defensively. They made it through to the World Cup. Many people didn't expect them. Playoff that had Cameroon, that had Nigeria in the group. And here they are at the global stage, going through, playing England today.
And Mimi, it's worth mentioning that not only through that they came, but also through the Intercontinental Playoff. This is a team whose togetherness is huge because of how far they had to go to get to the World Cup. So for them to even get out of the group was a huge achievement, and it will only strengthen those bonds.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's the Africa, you know, they did the Africa playoffs, and then they did the Intercontinental playoffs as well, you know, playing Jamaica. This country is a team that have so much belief in themselves. Sébastien Desabre has really been building on this team since he took over in 2022. They're very solid as the back, as we've seen, but they also can hit teams on the counter attack. And we've seen Yohan Wissa, who, of course, as you know, has had a difficult time in the Premier League in Newcastle with injuries, but he's really been able to step up to the plate at the World Cup and get those crucial goals in to help his country. So it's a team that have so much belief in themselves. Many people had not expected them to get this far. They're seen as the underdogs in so many matches that they've come into this competition, and they will definitely try and spring up another surprise.
Mimi, thanks ever so much for joining us. It is a huge occasion for the continent of Africa, for DR Congo as well. And Priya, we've been talking ever since this game came about the nicknames of the two teams. It is the Three Lions against the Leopards that takes place in Atlanta this afternoon, our time. But also, the coach that Mimi just mentioned, Sébastien Desabre, he too has a nickname. It is the Florist, because here he is, he allows his players to blossom. So he will hope that they do exactly that in the perfect temperatures offered him and his team under the roof at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That is some amazing knowledge for a pub quiz. Thank you very much for that, Hugh. I'm going to keep that in my pocket and use it. You can see here the team arriving just now. That was the DR Congo team. And we can also see some of the England squad. This was Harry Kane arriving a little while ago, I believe, yeah, along with his teammates. He was leading them off the bus a little while ago. We can see Anthony Gordon there. We can see also, yeah, here we go. They were coming off the bus not too long ago. And it does look warm there. It does look like it is heating up there. There was a slight concern that it might be a little bit stormy, but quite the opposite. This is the stadium, Atlanta Stadium. And it is there. I've got a message here. Lots of you have been telling us how you've been watching the game. And Harvey Wedden from Surrey is at that stadium in Atlanta, saying, I'm confident ahead of today's match. I'm very glad the stadium has got air conditioning because it's absolutely roasting. The stadium is magnificent, absolutely incredible, says Harvey. You can see the shot inside there. Some of those seats starting to fill up, but it's probably a prized possession, one of those seats, if it is so hot there. But it is now just over 1 hour and 2 minutes until kickoff. and we've been building you up here. It's been great to also see and hear from some of you around the country. We've been in South London, and we've also been speaking to our correspondent in Kinshasa. Of course, a hugely important game for DR Congo, the first time they have made it to the knockouts. But there is a lot on the line. You can follow the build-up and, of course, the match if you get yourself over to BBC One or stick on BBC iPlayer. Enjoy.